everyone, before we get started, after you watch this video, check out the third episode in this series. Sunday morning is still the most segregated hour. Now, I was having some technical difficulties. Only a limited number of people got to see this. So after you watch this, check out the third episode. This is the fourth one of 7. Check out the third one. Sunday morning is the most segregated hour. Now, let's move on with episode number 4. They say he was divisive. They say he was too radical. Some even called him a heretic just for preaching the truth about race in the church. But history proves what many denied back then. Fred Price was right about the church, and it still hasn't caught up to today. But history proves what many denied back then. Fred Price was right. In 1997, when Dr. Fred Price released Race, Religion, Racism, he wasn't applauded, he was attacked. Christian TV networks dropped him. Fellow preachers distanced themselves. Church folk accused him of stirring up racial division. But all Fred did was open the Bible and expose how racism had infected the church. The truth wasn't popular because it made people uncomfortable, but comfort has never been the goal of the gospel. But yet some people get this misconstrued.
Their pulpit messages talked me down, even some wrote books against me for teaching faith. Accused me of teaching false doctrine, all kind of stuff. The only people that would receive me were white folks. In mass, obviously we had blacks that did, but the ministers. And so now I'm getting it already. I'm hearing reports of that there are black ministers that are telling their congregation, don't watch the television program now. I don't know all the details or exactly how true it is, but they already started. They already started. We even had one of a very prominent television station challenged me just recently. And they actually at first indicated they weren't going to play the program. These are white folks, because they basically own all the television stations. And they were offended at the N word. You know, I'm so sick of hearing about it. Why don't you call us what you call us when you're sitting down drinking your coffee? You jive time turkeys. Phony baloney. I can show you so many books, publications, movies, and everything where y'all call us that all the time, and all of a sudden now, the N-word. Hang the N-word. Call us niggers, because that's exactly what you call us when you were by yourself. Now get real. Tired of all this lying and messing around. That's what's wrong with this country. Be real. You got two faces. A public and a private. You ought to be the same everywhere. But anyway, would you believe they didn't want me? You know what they had the audacity to ask me? Wanted me to know if we could send them another program. And they wanted to act it. So we're going to be watching next week because, see, there's certain legal things. I hope they do act a fool. I'll take them to the Supreme Court of the universe and the United States. I'm serious. This is a legal thing. You can't preempt a program without giving 72-hour notice. So apparently they didn't have the big wigs. Apparently, see, everything I'm saying apparently. I'm just going by all we can do is deduce certain things. And apparently they didn't have enough time. So we're going to be watching the program this week and see if they play it. We had some other stations in the country, they wouldn't play the program. They wouldn't play it. And the thing that was so sick about it, they were Christian stations. Yeah, what? Said that we're not going to play it. So my director, who's just as radical as I am, said, fine, just cancel the program. They said, oh, no, wait, don't do that. Give us a day to think about it. Yeah, because they know that black dollar spins just like that white dollar spins. It's all about money. And get down to the nitty gritty, it's about that money. And we, Ever Increasing Faith Television, is a legend in the television industry for paying our bills. For 20 years, we have paid our bills, never ever missed one, never been late, never gave a bounce check. And they know they got guaranteed revenue from us, see? And so they reconsidered. Now all of a sudden they're going to play it. And this other one, I believe God. See, God is going to expose this thing. But he got to have a channel. He has to have a channel, see? And if somebody's not willing, his hands are tied because he works through human instrumentality. See? And he's going to bring this thing out in the open one way or the other. It'll either be through somebody like me who's willing to do it or through legal action. Because if you mess with me, I'm going to take you to court. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to have hey, yeah, oh yeah. In fact, hey, listen. Honey, I can see Ted Koppel now. Oh, are you kidding? You think the Jim Baker thing was something? In fact, we need to pray that they don't show the program. I hope they're not that big a fool. Because see what they'll do, already they're showing where they are. If you're not racist, what do you care? It's a paid for program. We're paying for it. So listen, all y'all clapping and shouting, and all y'all that's going to see this program, y'all is clapping and shouting and jumping up and raising your hand. I hope you putting a pen to the paper and sending me some help financially, because some of them folk, they don't like it and they're not going to support the program. I need you folks that are doing all this clapping to bump up what you're giving. If you really that hot behind this. If you really believe this is right, put your money where your mouth is.
He wasn't preaching hate. He wasn't dividing the body. He was holding a mirror to the church, and what he exposed was real. He showed how Christianity had been whitewashed, how the Bible was misused to justify slavery, how racism lived in Christian institutions from pulpits to pews. And he did it all with chapter and verse. He didn't preach opinions. He preached receipts. Galatians 2:11-14 says, Paul rebuking Peter publicly for racial favoritism. James 2:9 says, if you show partiality, you commit sin. Fred was just doing what the Bible commands, calling out hypocrisy. Simple as that. And here's why this matters. Today, churches are still afraid to speak boldly on race. Pastors stay silent to avoid losing members or money, and you know that's true. And black voices that preach truth still get labeled angry, divisive, or radical. Look at it this way. We haven't moved past the problem. We've just gotten better at hiding it. Fred Price was ahead of his time, and sadly, many churches still aren't ready for his message, even some 30 years later. But here's a call to action. The next time someone tells you the church doesn't have a race problem, remind them what happened to Fred Price. Remind them what happens when you preach truth that challenges power, and we're not letting his message die. All right, in the next episode, we'll talk about what Fred Price exposed in the pulpit, how racism doesn't just sit in the pews. It hides behind the mic, and we're going inside the problem. So this is After the Message. I'm Marvin Fant. Let's keep the truth alive. And remember, continue to renew your minds. Of said. This recently happened a couple of days ago. You've all heard about it. Malcolm Jamal Warner, formerly on the Cosby Show, and also he was in other shows like The Resident. And he was one of the few child actors who didn't have all kind of drama surrounding him. It seemed like he grew up with a pretty stable life as can be in growing up in the entertainment industry. So it's such a tragic thing. But what's adding to that tragedy is the racist comments that are coming up. The racist comments. You know, I've said this before, and I'm having to say it again. I get people telling me that the platform needs to be focused on the gospel. It is focused on the gospel. What do you think the gospel is? The gospel is about spreading the message of God. The gospel is about unearthing sin, exposing sin. That's what this is about. But for some reason, people don't see racism as sin. And it's true. Some people don't see, a lot of people, I'll take that back, a lot of people don't see it as sin, but it is. And then they want to get on their high horse and say that this isn't the gospel. So what is the gospel? Because my thing is, even with John the Baptist, you probably told John the Baptist, that also, right? When he would go around and call people out of their sins. You probably tell him that also, right? There's an ugliness that's going around. And whenever something significant happens like this, oh yeah, I'm going to expose it.
The death of Cosby star Malcolm Jamal Warner after he would drown off the coast of Costa Rica while on vacation with his family. A part of the many reactions online and from amongst his peers, Warner's drowning has sparked a spread of hateful messages from racists who are now using the tragic incident to push negative stereotypes about Black people not being able to swim. One user would write, "Swimming and Black people don't mix." Followed by another, "It's horrible what happened to Malcolm Jamal Warner. Prayers to his family and friends. But at least he died proving that we have been debating over for years. That once again, Black people can't swim." Now, one white user would share his reaction to Warner's passing, but would choose to reinforce the stereotype of Black people not being able to swim by suggesting Warner himself didn't know how to.
This really grinds my nerves because he's making assumptions, whoever this person was. He's making assumptions about Malcolm Jamal Warner, saying that he didn't know how to swim. But the thing is, he did know how to swim. He was a swimmer, okay? And what they fail to center on is this was nature. This was a riptide, a force of nature, whereas you got a fast-moving current that came through. And that would mess up the best of swimmers. And it has before. It has messed up the best of swimmers. It has taken down the best of swimmers. So for people to come out with these comments is just asinine, it's stupid, and it's racist. It's definitely racist. So I can't stand this. But again, this is why showing these videos, you know, going over them again, because racism is not dead. It is not dead. And with situations like this, these people are coming out of the woodwork.
It saddens me that so many blacks lack proficiency at swimming in this country. Now, the user would end up being quickly challenged for suggesting Warner's drowning was due to his lack of being able to swim. Another user would respond, all races drown. The user's self-proclaimed conservative Gene Church would respond back with, they do, but despite your assumption this is racist, it is not. According to USA Swimming in the YMCA, percentage-wise, twice as many whites can swim as blacks.
Oh, and he's claiming his comment is not racist. Oh, it is racist. It is racist. His comment is racist because, first of all, again, Malcolm Jamal Warner was a swimmer. He could swim. All right. What all these people are going on is through assumptions and also stereotypes. All right.
Because so many blacks stay away from swimming pools, more white children actually die of drowning. But among adults, a disproportionate number of black adults die from drowning. Among the many negative comments about Warner's passing, many people would come to his defense, making it very clear that swimming in the ocean has nothing to do with race. The people on here are so disturbing. So many black people can't swim comments after Malcolm Jamal Warner's passing. Anyone can drown. A member of the Beach Boys ironically drowned in the 80s, Dennis Wilson. It's unfortunate, no matter the race. The nerve of people. R.I.P. Being an Olympic swimmer wouldn't stop you from getting taken under by the ocean's current. Like, please stop. Another would say, Costa Rica, ocean water, riptide, death. Stop with the conspiracy crap. But the stuff about black people not being able to swim, he was swimming fine. Nature ambushed him. And even some black users would assume Warner lacked swimming ability. She would write, black people, please take basic swimming lessons. I hate to hear about one of us dying due to drowning. If you don't do nothing, learn to swim.
And then, of course, a black person chiming in, adding on to the racist negativity by assuming, once again, that he didn't know how to swim. First of all, people, before going on this rant and making accusations, how about finding out what the story was about? The story was about him and his family being on vacation. And he was out there with several other people because one person who got caught up in the riptide is in critical condition. Another one, he was determined to be okay. And I believe it may have been another person, but unfortunately, Malcolm Jamal Warner was the one who lost his life. That's what these people should be focusing on. And they should be sending out condolences to his mother who was there, his wife, and his child. That's what it should be about, not about making jokes, because I know there were jokes on there also. It's something about Twitter. Well, I know they call it X, but I still call it Twitter. Whereas there's an element of racist who come out of the woodwork, and they are all over the place on that platform, all over the place. So, till we meet again, enough said.